Welcome back to the PulpMX Fantasy Show presented by Maxxis Tire. My name is Donnie, and it is a fresh start on a new season and a new lease on your fantasy life as we head outdoors with another chance at winning a brand new Yamaha dirt bike. As always, 5 riders to look out for when making your picks for your team, stats for the FFL, the weather report, weekend schedule, and a preliminary look at what my team could be. But first, let us talk about who is in and who is out this weekend. The 250 class sees Michael Mosiman return and 2023 debuts from Garrett Marchbanks and Jalek Swoll after preseason injuries in the little class. On the 450 side, we do have Cooper Webb and Dylan Ferrandis returning to the series. Unfortunately, Barsha and Anderson are not quite ready to rejoin the fray. Reminder that PulpMX Fantasy website has 2 features to help with injuries. The first is the big red cross flag next to guys' pictures to denote that they have an injury. In addition to that, there is a little checkbox at the top of the page. Only show riders and AMA qualifying results to actually hide all of the guys that didn't even bother show up on the weekend. This weekend, 3 riders I want you to look at, 1 guy to stay away from, and a high handicap guy for you gamblers out there. Outdoors means you should always have 8 guys able to score points every single weekend. And remember that each moto scores individually, so each rider can score all the way up to 100 points each weekend. Let's talk 250 All-Stars as this week I am leaning towards Justin Cooper. His 2022 campaign was hindered by injury, but by the end of the year, he was competing for moto wins and podiums. Unlike last year, however, J. Coop comes in over-prepared compared to the rest of the crew, as he's had the luxury of his last Supercross race being over 10 weeks ago, meaning he is fresh and has been able to focus on nothing but outdoors, while his title rivals have been dealing with injury and wrapping up Supercross titles. A double-eligible 250 rider I like this weekend is Guillem Ferres. The Spanish native returns to the US for his second season with Star Racing Yamaha after a 2-round show in 2022. While he was here, all he did was finish top 10 twice, with a 6th in his very first moto at Buds. Much like Cooper, he did not have to worry about Supercross and should come into the series much more prepared than most of the field. 450 side, let's talk Aaron Plessinger as your all-star. AP7 is coming off a podium finish indoor and has no title pressure like many of the other factory guys lining up this weekend. His 2022 stats might not be encouraging, but 16 of the top 20 from last year's 450 Outdoor Series are not racing this weekend, meaning there is not a lot of people to stand between the number 7 and a top 5 here in Pala. The guy I want you to be wary of this weekend is Derek Drake. The Barrick Suzuki rider made a rather last-minute decision to step up and make his big class debut this weekend, and although the class is thin at the top, his 5 handicap is not an automatic double either. His average finish in the 250 class last year was just 18th, and he only managed to finish top 15 in both motos once last season. The upside, of course, is there, but so are the concerns, and it is a lot of risk for just a 5 handicap. The high handicap here over the round given to a rider with a handicap of 10 or more that I think has a realistic chance to score massive points this weekend if you're the type of person that likes to sweat out a little LCQ action for a big payout. Easy one for me this weekend, and that is Derek Kelly. There are some slight concerns as the 41 did spend a few days in the hospital pissing blood due to a bruised kidney in Salt Lake, but a 10 is huge for DK. He only DNF'd once in 2022 with an average finish of 15.8 and even a top 10 moto finish at Thunder Valley. As long as he qualifies near the top 15, I think he's the best bet for double-digit handicaps on the weekend. Moving on to the FFLs, even an ailing Justin Cooper managed to snag a third of them last year without breaking a sweat. Tom Vial will be a total wild card as he is the most versed in the metal great starts, but the 32 has to be the preseason favorite at this point. 450 side is, well, thin. Sexton had a quarter of them last year, Ferrandis had 1, and the other 17 are not racing. So thin, in fact, that Freddie Noren is the 3rd best statistical starter from 2022 with a 14.4. So yeah, hard to pick against Sexton if you are picking it all this weekend. Weather is perfect for an outdoor. 70 degrees and sunny as the first gates drop in Pala, California. The viewing schedule is your usual West Coast National with race day live beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. RotoMoto patrons should expect their enhanced cheat sheet around 2:30, while the rest of you will have to wait until 3 p.m. for the basic qualifying cheat sheets to drop on Twitter and Instagram. The picks lock at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, and for the first time, we have a 30-minute intermission between the first and second motos, with action wrapping up after 8 p.m. on the East Coast. Before I show you my early team, I want to talk about Maxxis Tire coming back for 11 rounds of outdoors so that I can deliver these videos for you. You know Maxxis Tire. You know their MX ST tire designed by the king of Supercross and my all-time favorite rider, Jeremy McGrath. It is the newest and most advanced tire in the Maxxis MX lineup, featuring an all-new tread pattern, compound, and composition to provide the stability, predictability, and traction that the upper tiers of motocross demand. Available at your local retailer and also at motosport.com. My Thursday team is safe and basic before we see how qualifying shakes out, with Justin Cooper as my all-star. I also have Garrett Marchbanks at a 2, Hayden Deegan at a 4, Guillaume Ferres at a 6, mating that with a P7 as my 450 all-star, Ryan Surratt at a 4, Marshall Welton at a 6, Kyle Chisholm with a 7. The prize for the highest championship league score at Fox Raceway will be an autographed Rick James jersey, but if you're not great at fantasy, that is okay. If you want a chance to win autograph and race shoes memorabilia, consider joining me over on Patreon. For just about $1 per week, you're entered to win race shoes and autograph memorabilia, and insiders and above double their entries, as well as an exclusive podcast talking fantasy stats on every rider in the field, and that enhanced cheat sheet that comes out every single Saturday. Link for that is in the description below. Don't forget to follow PulpMX Fantasy and RotoMoto on both Instagram and Twitter for injury updates as the weekend rolls on, qualifying info, and stats and banner throughout the race itself, and those fantasy cheat sheets once qualifying is done and wrapped. Thanks so much for watching the PulpMX Fantasy Show presented by Maxxis Tire. My name is Donnie. May your chiz this weekend. Remember that 8 is great, and most importantly, have fun. Good luck, y'all.